All right, today we're diving deep into one of nature's most mind-bending secrets. We're talking about biological immortality, and it's all thanks to a tiny, kind of unassuming creature from the ocean.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if aging wasn't a given? It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, for one animal, it is a biological reality. And we're not just talking about living a super long life. We're talking about having the ability to literally hit the reset button on life itself.
So, meet the star of our show, Turritopsis dohrnii. It's also known as the immortal jellyfish. Now, this thing is tiny, no bigger than your pinky nail, and it looks totally ordinary. But it has an absolutely extraordinary superpower that basically defies the fundamental rules of life and death as we know them.
To really get how wild this is, we first need to understand what's normal. The standard, one-way street of life that pretty much every other living thing, including us, has to follow.
For most animals, and yeah, that includes other jellyfish, life is a straight line. It's a linear journey. It starts out as a larva. In this case, it's a stationary little thing called a polyp. Then it grows up into a free-swimming adult, which is called a medusa. It reproduces, and then it gets old and dies. That's the end. Game over.
But this is where Turritopsis dohrnii just completely throws out the rulebook. Let's take a look at exactly how this little creature manages to cheat time.
See, for this jellyfish, a crisis isn't a death sentence. When it's faced with some kind of extreme stress, we're talking starvation, getting injured, or even just the simple decay of old age, it doesn't just give up and die. Nope. Instead, it triggers this unique and, frankly, profound survival mechanism.
The whole thing happens in about 3 steps. First, that stress trigger kicks everything into gear. Second, its adult cells start this incredible reprogramming process. The jellyfish's body, its bell, collapses in on itself, the tentacles pull back, and it just sinks to the ocean floor, physically turning back into that youthful polyp stage. And then third, from that polyp, a brand new, genetically identical adult jellyfish will eventually bud off, completely restarting the life cycle all over again.
I know, it sounds like actual magic, but it's not. It is pure biology. So how on earth does a complex adult creature manage to go all the way back to its earliest stage of life? Let's get into the science of this amazing cellular switch.
The secret sauce behind this whole phenomenon has a pretty fancy name, transdifferentiation. Basically, it's this rare biological power where a mature, specialized cell can completely change its identity and its job, transforming into a totally different kind of specialized cell.
Okay, here's why that is so remarkable. In most complex animals, like us, once a cell specializes, becomes a heart cell or a brain cell, that's it. Its fate is sealed. But with transdifferentiation, a specialized muscle cell in this jellyfish can revert back to a more basic, stem-like state. It forgets its old job and gets the potential to become any new cell type needed to build a brand new, young body from scratch. It's incredible.
So, by literally reversing its own development, the jellyfish doesn't just get younger, it effectively wipes its cellular slate clean. It totally bypasses all that buildup of damage and decay that we call aging. It's essentially hitting the factory reset button on its biological clock, taking it right back to zero.
So a tiny jellyfish can reverse its aging process. That is amazing all on its own, but so what? What does that mean for us? Let's connect this natural wonder to what it could potentially mean for human science.
This really puts it in perspective. On the left, you've got that straight, finite line that represents most life on Earth. But on the right, you see the potentially infinite loop of Turritopsis dohrnii. It's not just about having a longer life, it's a completely different shape of existence.
And that is exactly why scientists are so fascinated by this creature. Now, the goal isn't to make humans immortal. That's still science fiction. The real prize is unlocking the jellyfish's secrets. Think about regenerative medicine. Imagine if we could convince our own cells to repair a damaged heart after a heart attack or replace neurons lost to diseases like Parkinson's. By understanding this natural master of cell reprogramming, we could gain powerful insights for fighting age-related diseases. Not by stopping time, but by repairing the damage it causes. This is nature's ultimate survival hack, and we're really just starting to figure out its code.
And this is the main takeaway. Now, the jellyfish can still be eaten by a predator. It's not invincible. But here's the key. It is not doomed to die of old age. It doesn't just endure, it begins again, and again, and again, with a biological potential for infinity.
And so we're left with this question.
Just forget immortality for a second. What if we could just borrow this one principle of cellular renewal, the ability to repair, to regenerate, and to heal in ways that right now we can only dream of? The answers are still a long way off, but they are being looked for, and it's all thanks to a tiny jellyfish that figured out how to turn back time.